So however many of you were feeling a little bit glum, you've had a bit of a stressful week maybe, or maybe you haven't, maybe you're feeling okay on your manifestation journey. Well, welcome to this channel. This is your Wish Fulfilled Fridays, and I'm dedicating Fridays to your success stories, to that of my clients who have coached with me on a one-to-one basis, but also stories coming from people who are simply watching my content and are putting it to the test and are getting incredible results simply by testing it out for themselves. So I want to thank you to my clients, to the viewers out there who've so generously, graciously given up their time to submit to me in detail their success stories, so that they can help to inspire and empower the rest of you who are still on this journey, who are perhaps new to it, perhaps still learning, or perhaps you're just needing that little bit of a boost. We're going to start our weekends the right way, and that's why I've dedicated Fridays to your successes. I'll be sharing as well some of my own success stories, as I'm continuously, of course, as we all are, manifesting our desires constantly on a continuous basis. And I'm also going to share some from Neville Goddard's testimonies, Genevieve Behrend as well, and various others too, because I think it's important to see how many different ways this works, how many different things people are able to manifest. And today's story is fantastic because she's someone who has simply viewed my content. I think she started off with the TikTok content I was putting out there, and she found me on YouTube as well, and she's been putting it to the test. She said finally everything made sense. Finally, it just clicked, and she's started to manifest all sorts of incredible, insanely incredible things, from acne removal, health-related stuff and pain, to an SP that she had no contact with, no connections with for 10 years, and various other things as well. So she shared numerous little successes that she has managed to achieve during this time. Thank you, darling. If you are watching, I know that you were super happy about me sharing this success story. And if you want to make yourself public at all, then do feel free to do so in the comments. And if any of you guys want to ask her questions as well, you can feel free. I do want to try and create more of a community where we're all helping each other out and conversing more. So comment to each other, help each other out. If you've got any questions as well, if I don't get to answer all of your questions, if any of you, and I've noticed you guys have been doing that. You guys are incredible. I am blessed with such a beautiful, positive community. And I know more people are joining the channel and they're stating the same. What wonderful, positive vibes. Because let's face it, this journey is not always easy. Yes, the principles, the fundamentals regarding how to manifest is simple. Okay, we were born to do this. We are all naturals at doing this. We are all brilliant at doing this, right? But in terms of some of the desires that we are so emotionally attached to, and the rewiring of thoughts, beliefs that we've had since childhood, certain programming, yes, it's not always going to be that easy, particularly when you're doing it on your own. I totally get that. So I'm hoping that in posting up more of these stories, particularly as I'm getting people to be detailed, please be detailed. Any of you who are about to submit your success stories to me, please be as detailed as you can, because it really helps other people to know what you went through, as well as how did you handle certain circumstances and incidents, and also how did you get through to it? What methods, techniques did you use? Because it's not going to be exactly the same for everybody. It's not necessarily a one size fits all. I find some clients really do excel with hypnosis, but I find a lot of other clients, the cognitive behavioral work, the challenge work that we do together, oh my goodness, that to me is actually the gold. And those of you who've coached with me know exactly what I'm talking about. Do feel free to share your experiences as well. You know, you guys, that's Coco jumping about the place. Don't be perturbed by the fact that you might have had some limiting beliefs or some programming, some method of thinking. You've shaped yourself a certain way for years and years on end. Please don't be put off by that, because literally I've had people who have had beliefs since childhood practically, and we have challenged it, and literally within 10 minutes their belief of one particular limiting belief, say for example, yep, I had 90% belief in that, I was 100% believing in that. By the time we're done, 5 or 10 minutes later, they're like 10%, 20% belief. I mean, it is incredible. So don't be put off. Don't think that you're going to have to be working on yourself for years and years to be able to get your outcomes. You're not. And please be like my, I would say close, not a client, follower, this lass here who shared her success story. Just play around with the law, be playful, because this is meant to be fun and we're losing the fun element of it. So let's get down to the success story, shall we? And let's see what she did, how she did it, and all these wonderful things that she's achieved, because she did really, really well. So sit back, relax, as I always say, and let's start our Friday the right way. So she emailed me. She said, hey Athena, how are you? Hopefully you are doing okay and you are enjoying your time. I just wanted to thank you for helping me on my journey of self-discovery and understanding manifestation. You've truly made it make sense when nothing and no one else could. Your interpretations of teachings and your own teachings were the missing key I needed to really jumpstart my understanding of manifestation. Only now when I look at myself and how I viewed it before, only now when I look at myself and how I viewed it before I stumbled upon you, I can see how I did not understand the law at all. So I wanted to thank you. Now, I'm not saying I won't need your help and guidance anymore. Sometimes I still find myself struggling, but it really is a big relief knowing that when I do, I can always turn to you for help and understanding. I just wanted to tell you about me and my success so far. I'm so happy about it, and I wanted to share it with someone. But no one I'm close to is into this, so they wouldn't understand. So if you decide to read it, just know that it will make my day. I apologize for any grammatical and spelling errors, but English is not my first language. So on to the story. Bless her. You were so sweet, darling. Thank you again for doing this. So she says, you know how when you're missing that one piece of information and you finally get it, how everything clicks? Well, that happened to me about a month and a half ago. I first heard of manifestation 2 years ago, and I did not understand it at all. Back then, the manifestation algorithm my TikTok put me on was honestly pathetic. Use this sound and something amazing will happen to you. Listen to this manifestation song I wrote and watch your wishes come true. Do this technique and live the life of your dreams. You know the type. Well, ever since then, it's been in the back of my mind. But I tried it and it didn't work. And naturally, I got very frustrated and angry. I had no idea manifesting had anything to do with the law of the universe. And so I kind of just moved along with my life, completely giving up on manifesting. Mind you, what I was doing had nothing to do with manifesting and the law that I grew to love so much. I don't want to bore you with my entire journey, but somewhere along the line, I discovered the law of attraction and Abraham Hicks. I found a couple of videos on TikTok that sounded amazing. I started listening to them daily to reprogram my mind, but it wasn't working. I couldn't quite grasp the teachings, and it sounded so good, but also made no sense to me at the time. And then sometime last year, around November, I think, I stumbled upon you, and you were just different. You had a different, no-nonsense approach that I've never heard before. So I checked your TikTok page and I watched a couple of videos. It was my first time hearing about the law of assumption and Neville Goddard. It was a real life changer. So I spent the last couple of months learning about the law of assumption from you, your TikTok, and your YouTube channel. I also reached out to you directly via email with a question once, and you responded, which I am so grateful for. You didn't have to, but you still took time out of your day and responded to my question when I'm not even a client of yours. I can confidently say that I know what I'm doing, and it's all thanks to you. It's not just your English, and it's my ability to read sometimes. I haven't quite experienced in my 3D reality everything I want, but I no longer doubt that I will, and in no time. So on the evening of the 31st of January, I had that big epiphany, that breakthrough that I mentioned before. So I decided to play around and just decide that I have whatever I want. I get whatever I want, no matter what. And to prove to myself that it worked, since I was manifesting my SP back, I decided that all of my exes come back, And specifically, I thought of one specific ex from 10 years ago that I completely forgot existed until then, and who moved away and with whom I have had no contact with in any way, shape, or form. Like, no mutual friends, we were not even from the same city, and we didn't have each other on social media. So on the evening of February the 3rd, he sends me an Instagram follow request. And I was just like shook. It works. And in a few days. I was so excited. I decided to accept and to see if he would text me. And he did. And so after a while, I just asked him, how did he think of me? And he said that he just thought of me a couple of days before he sent me the request. And he just had to reach out to me. I remember telling myself, of course, all of my exes come back. I'm unforgettable. And then he told me he wanted to add me on Facebook a couple of times in the past, because clearly I'm unforgettable, but couldn't because we didn't have any mutual friends. I was amazed. It was my first successful conscious manifestation. So I decided to play around again. With stuff that I'm not really emotionally invested in, to solidify that belief that I can, in fact, manifest. Another adorable example. So this is another adorable example, as she puts it. It's so sweet. I decided I wanted apples, crisp, green apples, but I don't eat apples. I love eating fruit, but I never eat apples. I simply don't like them. I was repeating to myself whenever I thought of my apple manifestation that I get apples. I have them. Why wouldn't I? They're right around the corner. I would think of myself. So I would imagine myself, right? I would think of myself holding an apple and how it would feel in my hand and such. But I wasn't doing any techniques really. I made the decision and I shifted to a state of being where I have an apple. And before I knew it, I was visiting my parents and my mum just bought me a bag of apples. It's my mum. And if anyone knows I don't like apples, it's her. She said these just looked awesome and that I should try them. So I got my silly little green apples. More. So now we're on to the next story. So she said more. I've been dealing with adult acne for almost a year now. I've gone to a couple of dermatologists and I didn't really see any big change except for last year with my first dermatologist who prescribed me antibiotics and a specific prescription active cream that happened to be pulled from the market all across Europe for additional testing about a month after I started using it. So when I stopped my antibiotics and that cream, my acne came back and I couldn't get rid of it despite changing derms and trying a bunch of different approaches. Until sometime beginning of February this year, I decided, whilst I was standing in front of a mirror, that I've had enough and that I don't want to have acne anymore. I don't. I have perfect skin because I have a perfect skincare routine, period. So about 10 days later, I went to see my family medicine doctor for a cough that just wasn't going away. She took a swab and she sent it for testing. And when the results came back, she prescribed me a round of antibiotics. And guess which one? The exact same ones that helped clear my acne a year ago. So I went to a pharmacy to pick them up. And whilst I was there, I remembered my prescription cream. I read a few days before that in my country's official medicine and drug website that it should be back in stock in May. But I asked the pharmacist about that cream anyway. Like I have nothing to lose with asking, so it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter that it's February. And guess what? She checked it and it was available. So within 2 weeks of me deciding that I have perfect skin because I have a perfect skincare routine, I got my antibiotics, I got my cream, and it's been a couple of weeks only, but all of my acne is gone and the marks are also going away. I still find myself just admiring my skin in the mirror. I am so happy. You know when you say that the bridge of incidence is unpredictable? How many times do I say that to you all? You know, when you say the bridge of incidence is unpredictable, It really is. I never thought that a nasty cough is going to somehow tie into my acne manifestation, but hey, so that's where I learned to never question my bridge of incidents. So now, whatever I see, I just remind myself, hey, somehow it's going to work out for me. I no longer look outside on my circumstances as things happening to me, but rather for me. It all has a purpose in fulfilling my manifestations. Everything works out for me. I also once burned myself. I was pouring boiling water from a kettle into a thermos bag. I use those instead of heating pads for my cramps, which, by the way, I've also manifested away. And my hand slipped and I burnt my thumb. It was super red and swollen and painful, but I kept telling myself, hey, it's okay. It'll pass in no time. Don't worry. I decided that it was okay and that I won't be in pain and that it won't leave a mark. And so I went back to my desk to work, and whenever I felt my finger burn and sting, I reminded myself, hey, you didn't burn yourself. It's okay. And before I knew it, I stopped thinking about it and it stopped burning. And by my lunch break, I didn't even have a red mark on my thumb. It was completely okay. Like I didn't just pour boiling hot water straight from the kettle onto it like 2 hours ago. Unbelievable, the power that we have, huh? Also, about my cramps. I was that person that struggled immensely with severe period pains, like pain level throwing up, fainting, going to the ER for IV painkiller because the regular ones just weren't helping. And recently, since I've been making a lot of decisions and just sticking to them in my mind and in my imagination, I decided that I was going to manifest my painful periods away. I just kept telling myself that I don't have painful periods. Why would I? I decided that I was now the person who didn't suffer through a period, and it worked. This last period, I only took 2 painkillers in total. 2. I usually take a lot more, and it still hurts. But this time, I was okay. I also manifested a friend back. A friend that I promised to reach out to a year ago and never did. I thought of her and I was sad about missing her and essentially abandoning her. But I made a decision that she still loves me and that she's not mad at me at all. She reached out to me soon after that and we reconnected. I'm sure I've manifested a lot of things that I just can't think of right now. But these past 6 to 7 weeks, I've really grasped the law on a subparticle level, I guess, have just been amazing. I'm starting to understand my power, and I've proved to myself that I can manifest anything. And what I love most about it is that I don't have to suffer anymore to shift a state. I've realized that simply making a decision and sticking to it no matter what, standing firmly in my belief, that what I decide, but in my belief that I decide what my experience is and will be, is enough for me to shift state and remain in it. Like I really haven't done a lot of techniques except for maybe visualizations. But even then, I realize now that it takes me a few repetitions of visualization to really saturate my mind and stand firmly in my end goal. That has been the biggest change I see, the change of myself internally, and really I don't doubt it anymore that I will get to experience in my 3D whatever it is that I choose to. Still, when I see I need or miss the feeling of my end goal, this is mostly connected to my SP manifestation. It is hard for me to just make a decision and remain in the state of my wish fulfilled when it comes to my SP manifestation, but I still don't doubt it. I keep telling myself what is and isn't true regarding my specific person in relation to us and our relationship. Like whatever I tell myself is true is true. So I keep reminding myself that is what I need to hear. And when I really miss the feeling of knowing my manifestation is already here, that's when I go into my imagination and I remind myself. So I do visualize to saturate my mind with my SP manifestation. But I guess it's because that particular manifestation tends to harbor a lot of big feelings as opposed to other areas in my life. Anyway, sorry for writing you such a long letter. Hopefully I didn't overcomplicate it and bore you to death. If you read it, I'm truly thankful. Having someone to share this with is really thrilling. Thank you again for everything. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day. Forever grateful. So thank you so, so much, darling. And like I say, feel free if you do want to make yourself public, you can do so in the comments. But what did you guys think of that? I thought absolutely incredible. I could tell, you've been watching my TikToks, hon. I could tell you've been watching the videos on here, repeating some of the stuff that I've said before. Sometimes for some of our manifestations, especially ones that we have very little resistance to, we simply make a strong decision and we stick to it, because that's what it's all about. You choose how to see your world, how to experience it. You choose your assumptions. You have the free will to choose what state of mind you wish to occupy, what concept of self, what labels you wish to give yourself. How do you wish to shape this human version of you? What kind of labels? Are they labels that are serving your purpose, or are they going against you? I'm the kind of person who has to work hard for money. Oh, I'm always having health issues. These sorts of labels and beliefs do not serve you at all. So what about daring to be the opposite of that, simply because you decide to? And often I've had it before too, where I've been so frustrated with 3D circumstances that in the end I've just been like, you know what, that's it. Enough is enough. I've had to go through this a few times to actually make it click in my head. But it's only when we go through truly negative circumstances that it actually gives you that drive, that push for, this is it, I've had enough. This is where it changed. It stops right here. This is what I want, and this is what I'm going to choose to experience, and I'm not settling for anything less. And often with that amount of determination, it drives us to be more brazen about it. It drives us to, in the face of negative, seemingly negative 3D circumstances, we don't take this as our final answer. This is still working in my favor. I'm just going to accept it as it's done. This is all part of the bridge to my end result. Imagine manifesting away this acne. She wasn't meant to have access to this medication, and it took for a cough to then go to the doctor to then get those same prescription cream and medication, the antibiotics that helped her the first time around. Do you see how insane the bridge of events is? She would never have said to me, oh yeah, I'm manifesting that my acne has gone away and I've got this horrible cough. Wow, great. I'm on the bridge. That's my movement. That's what I've been saying to you guys. Like, a lot of you will say that I'm not getting movement. How do you know? Because movement is immediate. And the thing is, we don't realize that half the movement that is happening towards your manifestation, it's not that obvious. It doesn't even seem to be, in some respects, connected or related to your manifestation in any way whatsoever. A lot of you will be waiting for something very obvious, like your SP gets in touch with you. Wow, that's movement. I had movement. Or a friend of mine spoke about my SP and he's going to contact, or whatever it might be. That seems to be the thing that you would connect as that's my movement, but not something like getting a random cough or spilling a cup of coffee or, getting PTSD like was in my case. You would never have expected that. And yet these examples that I've just given you are bridges of events that I've actually heard from, like I say, clients, followers of mine, people that have shared success story, my own successes. That bridge of incidents is insane. Your movement is happening immediately. She's demonstrated it to herself there with regards to the acne and how the cough was the bridge to getting this issue sorted, resolved. Incredible. This is why I say to you, it's so important to test it, because then you get an idea what works for you on a consistent basis. How did you manifest this? How did you manifest that? You build up your faith. When you're met with unfavorable circumstances in the 3D, you can say to yourself, well, I know I've done this before, and this is a pattern that I've experienced before. And actually, might seem negative, because getting a horrible cough, who's going to deem that a positive thing, right? But it obviously was. This is what I mean. Don't try and figure out the bridge in any way. That we're not here to judge the bridge at all. But I love that she put it to the test. And I'm inviting you all to put it to the test, even with the stuff that you're not emotionally connected to, because we come into this with desires that we're hugely emotional about, your specific person, that money that we so desperately need. And it puts a lot of pressure on ourselves. You feel like you have to do techniques all the time. You have to try and make something happen. Oh my God, I'm on a deadline. Why hasn't it happened yet? You know what? Let's be fun. Let's have fun. Let's be playful. Put it to the test with various other things like she did, and come and start sharing your success stories with me, because I know a lot of you are going to be receiving your success stories, your successes, your end results very soon. If you haven't done already, all of you are on the bridge to it. Keep that in mind. And I'm looking forward to sharing your successes on this Wish Fulfilled Friday. Thank you, everyone, for your support, for joining me. Love you loads, and I'll see you in the next video.